Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to Diana Emerson. Today we are going to look at.
With who are these girls? When did they disappear? Where were they taken from? All you've
He
got is
was
the body
busy.
that hasn't
He
quite
made
been
this a
moved yet.
job.
After finding the body parts, Oreshin is certain very many people have been killed in Novokuznetsk. All of them children.
Man.
When we found the body parts, it was a horrible sight.
Mm.
The whole team immediately developed ideas for how we could catch the killer. Suspicions range from trade in organs to child prostitution to a psychopathic serial killer. The last conjecture is correct, but Inspector Oreshin still has no leads. And investigating is difficult in that period. At the beginning of the 1990s, Russia is in upheaval. Massive poverty reigns. If you look at Russia at this time, the USSR is breaking down. There's a very poor economics. People are starving.
Men got drunk or left their families. Mothers fought for every job and drank too. Children were no use to anyone. This was the population the victims came from. No one was looking for them.
One man takes advantage of precisely this. His name, Alexander Spesistsev. But Inspector Oreshin does not yet have any leads. Where and for whom should he even look? Naturally, we took as many children off the streets as possible and returned them to their parents. But starving children go back out on the street after a short time. And they weren't really concerned with this group of the population. They may have noticed it, but it was another prostitute. She probably wasn't murdered. She's just moved on to some other place. But Detective Laurie Machon here believes that there is more behind the disappearances.
It was really difficult to get people to believe that something sinister might have happened to them. I suspected strongly it was a serial killer for the number one reason we weren't finding any bodies. We were not finding bodies.
The detective tries to prove that a woman killer is at work.
Say what?
But even Detective Schindler doesn't really know what Victor does exactly. On a regular basis, the farmer takes the prostitutes home with him. He throws wild parties at his pig farm that go to dawn. Hardly any of the girls leave the place alive. Meanwhile, Detective Laurie Machenier searches for evidence to support his theory. He wants to locate the anonymous caller. And he's successful. Chenier manages to trace the number.
Eddie, could you sit down?
Who calls himself Bill Hiscox
Why are you so
agrees
needy?
to meet at a Starbucks.
Took him to a Starbucks. I went in and got a coffee, and we sat in the car and talked. He didn't want to be seen with the police, and he told that he had a friend who'd seen bloody clothing and bags in the Picton trailer and women's ID, and that this woman thought that this stuff belonged to potentially some of the missing women from Vancouver.
The informant is scared and disappears again right away. But his information leads Chenier to a pig farm in Port Coquitlam. It belongs to the biggest and richest farmer in the region, Robert Picton, a man with powerful friends.
I drove around the property on the outside to have a look around, and it was really obvious to me that it was not a very welcoming place. I half expected some guy to come out with a shotgun and rack the shotgun at me or something.
Chenier quickly discovers that Picton Picton's home is more than your average farm. Once a week, the farmer throws very special parties, so-called Piggy Palace Good Times parties.
He was able to buy friendship with drugs and with alcohol. And all of these things combined together to make him feel a much better person.
At Picton's farm, government officials party together with Hell's Angels and prostitutes.
There were two types of parties. There were the sort of above board union parties, used to local politicians, police officers, other people in government, but there were also sex parties, and a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, and I think a lot of times the things that happened at those parties weren't necessarily things that everybody was concerned into.
Shane is certain the powerful party guests are the reason that no one is talking. Even his request for a search warrant are rejected again and again.
Trying to find somebody who was willing to talk and go on the record. There were people who worked for the RCMP who knew various people who were coming to these parties that they would talk about.
The detective tries to find out more about the mysterious farmer, who seems to be protected from on high.
Robert Pickton is the kind of person who you would describe as a social outcast. He was made fun of at school, and he lived on a farm with pigs, and his best friends were alleged to be the animals.
The farm has been in the Picton family for generations. As a child, Robert Picton already slaughtered and butchered pigs regularly.
His one real skill, the thing that he actually excelled in, was butchering animals.
Early on, the future killer learns from his mother. Human beings are only animals.
His mother was a very dominant, tyrannical lady who clearly was the prime force in his childhood.
When Picton's mother dies, the Butcher of Canada gives free rein to his impulses.
The satisfaction and sense of control that he was missing. He was getting this from his interaction with prostitutes and his killing of prostitutes.
It was really a win-win situation. One, he gets these victims, he gets to enjoy them, kill them, rape them, engage with them, and then when he's done, he doesn't have to worry about, okay, now what do I do with the body? I have to transport it someplace and dump it. Right here, he had a ready-made way to get rid of the victims.
Picton feeds the bodies to his pigs. The story is so incredible that no one is willing to believe it. Meanwhile, 30 women from around Vancouver have gone missing. Detective Schender despairs, has nightmares, can't let go. Then the case is taken away from him.
When my superiors made the decision to pass the file on, I really felt two different ways. I felt, on the one hand, I felt like a failure because I was so burnt out and I'd been wearing so many hats. I felt there was a possibility I'd made mistakes and that I'd missed things, and I felt maybe somebody who came in with fresh eyes might see something that I didn't see.
But little happens. For a whole year, women continue to go missing, until a civilian reports something suspicious and encounters a policeman who knows nothing at all about Picton's connections.
A guy driving a truck had been up to his farm, had seen many weapons at the farm, and mentioned this to the police. And the police then decided that they would go and have a look and see what was going on at the farm.
But when they finally do focus on him, the farm becomes a horror show.
Police find not only non-registered weapons, but also an asthma inhaler bearing the name of one of the missing women. A decisive turn. For an entire year, officials searched the property, dig the whole thing up.
In this dirty, sloppy, messy, stinky pig farm, you're now trying to find literally 100+ victims within that. Very, very difficult task.
They found thousands and thousands of DNA, human DNA.
For Lorimer Shenhere, this is ultimately a kind of success. But mostly, it is just a punch in the gut.
If we could have searched this area when we first got the Lynn Ellingson tip, there's no question in my mind we would have saved between 13 and 17 women.
Even today, it's not entirely clear how many women Robert Picton lured to his farm and killed. He himself said that his goal was the big 5-0, 50 murders. The sentence comes 5 years later, life in prison for only 6 proven murders. For Detective Shenher, a frustrating sentence that has come far too late.
What small bit of vindication I felt was in being right, because I was right and I knew all along that it was him. It was completely overshadowed by that sense of devastation. And, it's hard to explain what it feels like to say I was in shock for something that I expected every day was going to happen.
Picton is finally behind bars. But after this case, Detective Shenher loses his faith in justice, and he quits. In the United States, arguably the worst woman killer of all commits his monstrous deeds, Ted Bundy.
I'll plead not guilty right now.
For a long time, even one of America's top investigators cannot stop him.
I believe